I'm Laia, and today I'm going to talk about how my job has been affecting my language learning. So, to give you a very brief history, not going into detail, last year I got a new job and it was pretty good. I worked my working hours and then I came home and I was free. This year I got another new job, but I go to work my working hours, come home, or the weekend comes and I'm still working. I'm not free. So basically, this year my job has required a lot of after hour work, and basically for the whole year so far, more towards the last 2 months, I haven't had my weekends. So it would be weeks on end where I would not have a weekend. I would just work, and then Monday would come and the new work week would start. And I don't mention it very often on here, but I am a dancer and I dance on Saturdays most of the day, like the whole morning. And when I come back from my dance classes on Saturdays, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do much, so I basically rested for a little while. And then a lot of Saturdays in the late afternoon, I would work, and then the Sundays, I would work the whole day. Like the whole day. And it carried on like this for weeks on end. So, as you can imagine, that affected my language learning quite a lot because I didn't have time to dedicate to language learning, and that's why I've been emphasizing casual language learning. But at the end of the day, you have to sit down and study a language. It's part of learning a language, it's part of getting better, it's part of improving. You have to kind of sit and study at least for a while and be engaged and play around with the language, do exercises, things like that, making the language learning active instead of passive. And to top it all off, I didn't have language lessons for a long time, and it was not my fault. My language teacher kept cancelling the lessons, a few lessons after each other. So one week I wouldn't have a lesson because I was either too busy or I'm actually studying at the moment. So some Saturdays I go to lectures, and so I don't want a language lesson on that weekend because it's just too much and too overwhelming. So then maybe I would skip, and then my teacher would be sick the one weekend, and then the next weekend she wouldn't have internet. And so it just happened that for quite a while I didn't have lessons. I did have a lesson last week though, and it went well. I was a bit worried because of how many lessons I missed. I was a bit worried that I would have forgotten the language. But at the end of the day, it was fun, it was good. I didn't forget everything. The first thing that kind of goes away when you start practicing is speaking. So I think my speaking has suffered a bit, but my understanding is still there, and I mean, that's pretty much all I can ask for at this stage, because as long as my understanding's there, everything else can catch up. So recently I've been on a bit of a break. I am a teacher, I don't think I've mentioned that. So we just had a 2-week school holiday, 2.5 week kind of. And today is my last day of school holidays. Tomorrow I go back to work, which is a little bit sad, but I guess I have to go back to work. 2 weeks of holiday, and my plan was basically to do as much work in the holiday as possible so that I can have my weekends free in the new term. And I think that's a pretty good goal I had, because I need a break. I need time to do something for me, to do some language learning, to rest, to, I don't know, do some art or something, like just time for myself. Basically, because this job was new and I started this year, I couldn't work ahead, I couldn't plan ahead. So I was doing everything in the term. Whereas now I had a 2-week holiday and I told myself I'm going to do everything so that I would never have to sit and use my whole Sunday for work ever again, basically. I think it might happen once maybe during the time of assessments, because the assessment period is quite hectic, but that's the only time I'm prepared for it to happen again, and I just basically refuse to give up my free time. So that meant all my holiday time, at least the whole first week, went to work and not language learning, art, resting, going to the gym. Although I did try to go to the gym, but I didn't end up going as much as I wanted to. So the whole first week, I worked every single day. And when I say I worked basically a full working day every single day. I would start at about 8 o'clock in the morning, finish around 2 or 3. Some days I even carried on in the evenings. And that went on from Monday to the following Monday. And that included Saturday and Sunday. I worked because I wanted to get it done. So my mindset basically was get this done as quickly as possible so that I can get some rest before the new term starts. So I worked from Monday to Monday, full working days, and then from the Tuesday of the second week, I said, no, I'm done. There was still some things I could have done, but I basically drew the line and said, I'm done, I need to rest before the new term starts. Otherwise, I'm going to be exhausted and burnt out and not rested before the new term starts. There are some misconceptions about being a teacher, but it is an extremely exhausting job. It is very, very, very exhausting, and therefore resting is very important because you're always on, you're always talking, you're always on, you like never get a chance to rest, and it's never calm. There's no calm. It's just always, it's like go, 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 go until I get home, and then I basically have to do nothing for at least an hour before I can become a human again. As you might imagine, it does affect my other hobbies. I've been going to the gym, I've been doing some coloring in. I've wanted to do some art, but I've been having problems with my wrist, so I just did some kind of light coloring in just to do something for myself and do something relaxing and fun. And as you can imagine, I've been wanting to make videos. I really, 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 really miss making videos. And the first week of the holiday, I really wanted to make a video, but every morning I would start working and then I would get so into like the work flow and I would work the whole day that making a video just didn't happen. And then this past week I've just been kind of resting, and it was Easter, so celebrated Easter. So going forward, I've said it over and over and over, casual language learning. I've spoken about it, so I'm not going to speak about it now. But casual language learning is basically where you don't sit and learn, you watch videos, you read books, watch shows, movies, that kind of thing. Going forward, knowing that I do not need to use my weekends for work, I'm looking forward to using some of my weekend for language learning. And I'm really hopeful that it's going to happen. I have language lessons booked for the next 3 Sundays. So 3 weeks of Sundays I have lessons booked. And unless my teacher doesn't cancel, I will be attending those lessons, doing my homework on those Sundays. I'm going to try to do it right after the lesson, so then during the week I don't have to worry about doing the homework. And right now I'm going to do the homework from last week's lesson, so I'm looking forward to that. So I'm really, really hopeful now that I've put in so much work that my hard work will really pay off and mean that I can now put some more time and energy into myself and my hobbies, which includes language learning. So that's basically what I wanted to say. I've been working my booty off, but I really hope it's going to be worth it. And I'm going to have some free time, which I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to be a much better term than the first term of the year was. And just in case you were wondering, our school years go from January to December. So the January to March term was the first term of the year. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and this gave you some information about where my language learning is at. and I hope to put out more language learning content now that I will have time to put out language learning content. So look forward to that coming. I hope you have a really good day, whatever you are doing, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.